Aquamolality, a useful concentration unit. In this lecture, we will discuss the significance of the aquamolality scale of concentration, particularly for the solutions made in liquid mixtures, expression for the interconversion of different units, and aquamolality have been also presented. Compositions of substances containing two or more components can be expressed in various ways. Chemists generally use mole fraction or other suitable concentration units for liquid solutions. For example, molarity, molality, parts per million, and parts per billion. And the choice of a particular concentration unit also depends on the substance itself, but more importantly, on the nature of work being undertaken. Mole fraction, mole of given component per mole of all of the components taken together, is frequently employed for the liquid mixture or solutions in which the amount of each individual component is known. So the mole fraction is the mole of the given component per mole of all the components taken together. Is frequently employed for the liquid mixtures or solutions in which amount of each individual component is known. So what is the advantage of using the concentration unit known as mole fraction? The advantage of this temperature independent unit is that it directly provides molar ratios of various components in the liquid. So the mole fraction gives the advantage of providing molar ratios of various compounds in the liquid, whereas it is temperature independent. On the other hand, if the chemical formula of solute is not known or the solute is impure, so the disadvantage of using the concentration unit known as mole fraction, that if the chemical formula is unknown or the solute is impure, we cannot use the concentration unit that is mole fraction, but we can use another concentration unit that is known as weight percent. The weight percent is the number of grams of solutes that have been dissolved per 100 gram of solution. Another important concentration unit is known as molarity. In spite of being a temperature dependent unit, molarity, moles of solute per decimeter cube of solution, is commonly used in chemical kinetics, chemical thermodynamics, electrochemistry for its usefulness in these subjects. So the molarity is applicable in chemical kinetics, chemical thermodynamics, and electrochemistry. The molarity is a concentration unit that describes moles of solute per decimeter cube of solution, and its major disadvantage is that it's temperature dependent. As this concentration unit is used most of the applications of the chemistry, so what is the advantage of the molarity? So an important advantage of molarity is that it provides the average distribution pattern of solute in the solution. So this is a feature that is closely related to the solute activity. So what is the solute activity? Activity is the number of particles that are actually involved in particular properties of the solute or the solution, for example conductivity, ion migration, or various other ionic properties. So At low solute concentration, the activity can be replaced by concentration. So at this point, the concentration unit is used in form of molarity, which make it an important unit that is usually used in different branches of chemistry, like chemical kinetics, chemical thermodynamics, and electrochemistry. Another advantage of using the unit molarity is that for the equal molarity solutions of non-associating solute species, having molarity is M2 is equal to M1 for solution 2 and solution 1, which are non-associating solute species, the average separation should be the same regardless of which solvent is employed. Moreover, the common availability of voltammetric glassware. So the common availability of volumetric glassware makes it easier to prepare solution in the molarity scale. So these discussions were for molarity. Molarity is actually the moles of solute per decimeter cube of solution that is temperature dependent, and it is mostly used in chemical kinetics, chemical thermodynamics, electrochemistry, and it possesses three important advantages. The first one is it provides the average distribution pattern of solute in the solution that is useful for describing a feature that is closely related to the solute activity, and at very low concentration this activity can be expressed in terms of concentration, that is the molarity. So I was discussing all these features for the molarity. So the second one is non-associating solute species. For example, for solution 2 and solution 1, if the molarities of these solutions which are non-associating solute species, for these kind of solution the average separation should be the same, means the particles of the solute are separated with same distance. So the average separation should be the same regardless of which solvent is employed. And the third important point is the third advantage, that common availability of volumetric glassware make it easier to prepare solution in the molarity scale. Another frequently used concentration unit is molality, which describes moles of solute per kilogram of solvent, which for the aqueous solutions closely resembles molarity. Molarity is the description of moles of solute per decimeter cube of solution, whereas the molality is moles of solute per kilogram of solvent. So molarity and molality are similar, but in molality we usually take the weight of solvent, whereas in molarity we measure the volume of solution. But here we need to remember that molarity and molality is equal for the case of dilute aqueous solutions at ambient temperature. So at ambient means regular temperature, for example at 25 degrees centigrade. The reason is that the involvement of specific gravity of water, and as well as the density of the water is nearly equal to 1. It means that the volume and the weight of the water are similar. Molality is a temperature independent unit. So let's see what are the applications of the molality. The molality being temperature independent is widely used in thermodynamics, particularly to express temperature variation of solubilities and solubility related functions. In many investigations, comparison of the solute to solvent ratios is required for understanding of solute solvent interactions. When different solvents are employed, the desired comparison cannot be directly made from either molarity or molality. So these two concentration units, although useful in various applications of electrochemistry, but they are unable to explain the different solute-solvent interactions when the solvent types are varied. So for the desired comparison, we cannot use these two concentration units. For example, a 1 molar or 1 molar solution in water has not same solute to solvent ratio as has the 1 molar or 1 molar solution in water has not the same solute to solvent ratios. As well as another important point is that if we make a 1 molar and 1 molar solution in ethanol, then again we cannot have the same solute to solvent ratios. Even 1 molar and 1 molar, both solutions don't have same solute to solvent ratios, but also when we have 1 molar in methanol and 1 molar in water, these two solutions also exhibit different solute to solvent ratio, and similarly 1 molar solution in ethanol and 1 molar solution in water don't have same solute to solvent ratios. Similarly, if we have 1 molar in water and 1 molar in D2O, so here we have again two type of solutions. So these solutions also have different solute to solvent ratios. Although the two solutes are chemically same, but 1 molar or 1 molar solution in D2O has not the same solute to solvent ratio as has the 1 molar or 1 molar solution in H2O, even these two compounds are chemically same. So to have the same number of solvates formed in a given amount or moles of the two different solvents, one has to make either solutions of different molarities or molarities or should look for some other appropriate concentration scale. So in the above mentioned cases in which we have considered two examples, the first one is the formation of 1 molar solution in water and 1 molar solution in methanol. These two solutions don't have the same solute to solvent ratio, as well as 1 molar and 1 molar solutions in water don't have the same solute to solvent ratios. Similarly, 1 molar and 1 molar solution of solute in methanol do not exhibit the same solute to solvent ratio. The second example is we have taken the same chemical but different molecular weight. So here we have taken water and heavy water, that is D2O. If we make 1 molar or 1 molar solution in water and we also prepare 1 molar or 1 molar solution in D2O, these two solutions will also have different solute to solvent ratio. So in order to have the same number of solvates formed in a given amount of moles of two different solvents, one has to make either solutions of different molarities or molarities, or should look for some other appropriate concentration scale. So while selecting other appropriate concentration unit, mole fraction could be a better choice, but the situation becomes more complicated if solvent themselves are mixture. So in this case, the situation will become complicated. So for this case, when we are going to use the solvent mixtures, then the varying the amount of solute alone results in the change of mole fraction of all the components in a rather complex way. Thus, for solutions that are prepared in the solvent mixtures, the desired comparison of molar ratios cannot be directly obtained from any of the above-mentioned concentration unit. Thus, for solvent when themselves are mixtures, we cannot use above-mentioned concentration units. And also for the same molality or molarity, solutions of a given solute in solvent mixture of different composition or realistic comparison of the two solutions is not possible because different total moles of solvent are present in the solution. In view of the above and related difficulties, aquamolality, denoted as small m, moles of solute per 55.5 moles of solvent, was introduced as an alternate concentration unit that is temperature independent, was given long ago. The name of aquamolality describes its significance. So it have a significance from the fact that the aquamolality and molality have same value for the solution which are prepared in water, or also known as aqueous solutions. On the other hand, solutions of the same aquamolality have same solute to solvent interactions and molar ratios regardless of the solvent mixture being employed. So the solutions of the same aquamolality have same solute to solvent molar ratios, thus interactions, regardless of the solvent or mixture being employed. Another significance of aquamolality is aquamolality not only allows a rather more rational comparison between solutions of different concentrations prepared in the same solvent or the same solvent mixture, but also between those prepared in different solvents or mixtures of different compositions. In view of its relevance and significance, the aquamolality scale has been used by many workers, and variation of many physical properties has been explained using aquamolality scale. So it has been applied in many physical properties. For example, whenever isotope effects, for example, dynamic isotopes in liquid mixtures are investigated, the use of aquamolality scale is indispensable. Also, the phenomena of selective solvation can be better understood using this scale. In all such cases where absolute numbers, for example, solvation numbers, play a role in the solution. So this concentration unit is specifically applicable to the application where absolute numbers, for example, solvation numbers, play an important role in describing the properties of the solutions. However, aquamolality could neither become a popular concentration scale nor it has received the due appreciation from the researchers. In spite of its significance, the present contribution or is an attempt to highlight the importance and significance of equimolality in general in this lecture. So a solution of desired equimolality can readily be prepared by adding a predetermined mass of solute into the known amount of solvent. For the solvent mixture, the molar mass is taken as sum of the products of mole fractions and molar masses of all individual components. So it's better to denote the mole fraction as small x, where m is the molar mass of the mixture and x1 is the mole fraction of component 1 and m1 is the molar mass of the component 1, whereas x2 and m2 are the mole fraction of and molar mass of component 2. So the equimolality m can also be determined from other units using the conversion, that is 0.0555 into molar mass the equimolality that is expressed in italic m is expressed in terms of molality by using formula shown as equation number 1. And for the comparison of the equimolality and molarity, the equimolality can also be determined from other units using these three conversions. In these conversions, the capital M represents the molar mass of the solvent, small m is the molality, C is molarity, X is the mole fraction, D is density in gram per centimeter cube, small w is molar mass of solute, and capital M is the molar mass of solvent. So this density is density of solution. Dilution from higher equimolality to lower equimolality. The higher equimolality is represented as italic M and lower equimolality is represented as italic M dash, and del S plus gram of solvent to S gram of solution. So what we are doing here, we are diluting the solution from higher equimolality to lower equimolality, where S gram of solvent is added to increase the S gram of solution. So we can calculate the amount of solvent that is required to add the desired lower equimolality using the process of dilution. So we need to follow the formula 55.5 into molar mass of the solvent over 55.5 into molar mass of solvent plus equimolality at higher concentration into weight of the solute and equimolality at higher concentration, equimolality at lower concentration or diluted form over equimolality at lower concentration, and S is the number of grams of the solution that has become with addition of this amount of solvent for the dilution